Salut à tous et bienvenue sur votre chaîne 242 Stéphanos. En tout cas, merci beaucoup pour le fait que vous regardez mes vidéos ces derniers temps, ça me fait beaucoup. J'ai autre chose à vous présenter. Dernièrement, je vous avais fait comprendre que j'avais testé le jeu de GbrosSoft, à savoir Outlier Tribulation. C'est un jeu qui m'a assez plu, qui m'a rappelé un peu l'essence des Resident Evil et Silent Hill. Vous voyez un peu, fait avec du Dark Souls, on va pas se mentir. C'est un jeu qui a un certain niveau de difficulté. Mais bon, là n'est pas le problème. Je vous avais fait comprendre que j'étais en contact avec le studio qui m'avait envoyé une démo que j'ai pu tester. J'ai pu vous mettre aussi en lien en description le lien Steam pour pouvoir télécharger la démo et également la tester. Et vous savez que une chose en appelant une autre, j'ai pu avoir une interview avec le PDG de ce studio. Je vous invite actuellement à pouvoir regarder cette interview et on se donne rendez-vous juste après. Let's go la famille. Hello, mister. How are you?
Fine, hi.
Yes, today we are just make some little question for you. It's not much, but I think that people will know what about you, what's your project, but because I see this game, Outriver, will be for me the must of this year 2022 if it's going out this year. In Africa gaming, we don't see much game in this case. You know, there's so many things I want to ask you. Okay, are you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So first of all, the same question I ask at everyone is just about who are you, where are you from, and what is your school background.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Mudathir. I co-founded this company called GbrosSoft for the purpose of game development because growing up as a kid, I am an avid gamer. We love gaming a lot. So we decided when we grow older, perhaps we should just try and get into this and actually be able to make games we love. Also, one thing we noticed is in the African space, as you rightly pointed out, we haven't really seen as in projects from Africa here that are trying to really push the bounds too. So for us, we want to make games that are set in Africa, but they might end up having diverse backgrounds. That's people from diverse backgrounds, but being able to make this. So that is like one of the driving force behind this. And yeah, the studio is based in Nigeria to Lagos.
Okay, wow, it's great. Wow. I think there are so many things I will ask you. What? Like this? Okay, starting good. Um, Maybe I didn't really catch, but tell me. Yes, I say. How did you starting your startup? Yep, your startup.
Okay. So initially, I just started it by just working in my place shop with whatever little the laptop I had back then. I think after my university days, I studied civil engineering. So
Okay.
after graduation, during the time for our national youth service, I stumbled across an IT teaching company called HIIT, that's Hands-on Institute of Technology. So since I have this interest in programming and making video games, I approached them and asked them if I take a course with them, would I be able to learn programming? I think this was way back in 2011 or so. So they said yes. So I took a course with them, and then that was Java. I took a Java programming course, and then after that, I self-taught myself, and then started working on, the basic Nokia Asha mobiles back then, and then gradually with the experience, called in my brother and my sister, and then together we formed the GbrosSoft, and gradually we started pushing it by ourselves, trying to make a point of being able to make games of this scale with as little team and as little resources as possible. So that's like the story so far. But along the line, we've met a lot of interesting people in the industry, fellow Africans too, trying to guide us, like the ones based abroad, trying to guide us right, as in some things we can and can't do. But all in all, it's still a developing story. Until this game is ready, then we'll have more to say about that.
Wow. So it's like It's like a family company.
Yeah, like
Okay,
having aligning interests. So
okay, okay, sounds good. And so, since you started it today, how many people are in your company? Just three of you or someone else?
currently, three of us are like the key parts, but for expanding the team, we are looking into outsourcing if need be, like, for localizations, things like that. But for now,
Okay,
it's just the three of us until at least the company stabilizes better.
okay. So, what is the function of everyone in your studio?
Okay, so for me, the gaming industry or on a game project, you know that there is a lot of disciplines involved. So
Yes.
essentially, we here we wear a lot of different hats. So like I do the coding, 3D and animations, even the audio in the game, I made those ones too. So and a lot of other things here and there. And then as for the second, that's my brother. He does the graphics aspect and also some modeling and animations, as well as the videos you see us release on YouTube here and there. He works on those ones. And then for my sister, she on the other hand, she is a writer and very, very good at her job. So we decided to leverage her skills by having her write for us. So she helps us clean up the scripts, come up, develop the characters, the stories, and all of that. So that's how we all work together to try to cover most of the disciplines. But those ones that we can't do, we would have to eventually need to outsource them. The prime example in this case would be the localization in multiple languages. So everything else for now, we sort of find a way to balance it amongst ourselves.
Okay. Wow. So it's very big an organization. You are very big. You are organized. Well, I will say like this. So about this, there's still something you didn't tell me. How did you get the idea
Okay.
of your game, and how long have you been working in it?
Okay. The idea for the game is very simple. I am, as I said, growing up, we played games a lot. I mean, there was a time because we go to school, we play games at night, almost overnight,
Yep.
so that in the morning we get to go to school. So there is this game that caught our eyes particularly, then that's the original Resident Evil trilogy.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Resident Evil 2. Back when we were still kids, when the game came out. So we played the game and we're so intrigued by it. In fact, that's the primary reason we went into game development. And I find myself as a huge fan of survival horror type games, especially the third person camera perspective types. So the very first game I made, then it was, I call it Minded on the Nokia Asha mobile. Again, another type of survival horror game, zombies especially. So that was like the driving force. And then for the Resident Evil, if you notice the new remake they recently released, that's the Resident Evil 2
Yep.
remake.
Yep.
One issue I have with it is I love everything about Resident Evil. In fact, I am very biased towards Resident Evil in the survival horror realm. But one issue we mostly have is the combat. The enemies in the game, they seem too slow and too forgiving. They like wait for you to get set before they try to attack you. So, and then there is this other one, the Soulsborne series. This one, I might end up fighting it for like 100 times before I succeed. So for me, that was too difficult. But I like the fact that the bosses are challenging. So I was looking for a way to bring in something challenging to the Resident Evil lore. Of course, while bringing in our own twist to it, making it our own very game. So as a result, this game was inspired by Resident Evil and the Soul series, as well as mixing African mythology to it. So as you can see from the gameplay too, it felt that way too, especially with the boss fight you mentioned to me a while back. So that was like the inspiration. So we've been working on this game, I would say, since like around 2020. We nearly
Okay.
released the game back in February. Okay, I think 2019. Working on it behind the scenes. So we planned on releasing it, I think, February 2020. But then we met an industry veteran who now he saw the game, he was blown away. He never believed such a thing could come out from Africa, at least this area of Africa. So he was blown away by it and very impressed. So he recommended we worked on it a bit and just still put up the release for now. So we went back to the drawing board. We redesigned almost everything, rebuilt the world from scratch, and then what you are seeing now is the result of that. So that is like part of the story so far.
You're talking about this like a very someone with a big passion for the video gaming. I see
Yeah,
by your word, it's something is really, what can I say? You really love it. It's your baby, like I would say.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, my baby. Yeah.
So I have a question about what did you say right now, and this question, so many people have their same, they are already the same answer, but I want to know if you are, if it's the same things for you. Tell me the difficult. What is the difficulty? If French for the game in English, tell me, will you add French in your language for your gaming?
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I
That's
see
one
it's
of the
a
most
very
important
problem.
languages to have.
Yes, it's a problem for us. We, like you see, English not my first language, so it's a little difficult
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me. But like I love this language, so I can play this game. For anybody who don't know about English, tell me, well, it's you will add
Yeah,
French.
definitely we'll be adding the French. Yeah, one
Okay,
of the first few languages we'll be adding.
okay, okay. And why did you choose Unreal Engine 4 instead Unity? Because you said
Okay.
many indie developers
That is
start with
also another
Unity.
funny
Yeah.
story.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
That's another
Tell
funny
us.
story. So when we started, we actually started when we wanted to move into like 3D game development from the initial Java days. We actually started with Unity. It was around the time Michael Helgason, the founder of Unity, made the engine free for everyone to use. So we started with Unity. But the problem is we were working on a game called the Breeding the Fog back then too for Unity, but we quickly ran into optimization issues. And it turns out to fix this issue, we have to keep buying assets upon assets upon assets to try to fix it, to try to optimize, which eventually even made it more complex. And then we started looking around. How can we save this? What can we do? So we stumbled upon on the Unreal Engine. And then they have this beautiful blueprint scripting system that takes away that brainstorming or trying to figure things out. With blueprints, you can easily code as long as you understand programming, as in depending on your level of
Yes.
programming. It depends on how you can leverage the blueprint system to write your codes. So, and then Unreal Engine back then, there were less assets on the asset store. So you had to do a lot of things yourself. So I
Yes.
think that made us learn faster. So that made us learn faster. And then with the quality, the level of quality you get with Unreal Engine. I love Unity a lot. It's just that as time progresses, Unreal Engine, Epic started coming up with schemes that really truly benefited developers. Like they came up with the Mega Grant scheme, and Unity on the other hand, they came up with subscription plans, and they are all seat per seat. Like in, let's say we're to work with Unity now, I will have to subscribe to one of mine if I don't want to use the free version. My other colleagues too will have to subscribe to this. But for Unreal Engine, it seems a bit fairer to me. Like you can have unlimited seats. If your game succeeds, you get to give them a little cut of it. So it felt a bit better and the engine felt more complete. Of course, over time, Unity 2 started adding those tools needed. Like in Unreal Engine, you can easily prototype with the inbuilt tools. In Unity, there was this thing we bought then, I think Pro Builder to prototype. So a lot of the things you might need in Unity to rapidly prototype, you might end up having to buy them on the asset store. At least this was way back then. Now I think things have changed in Unity, but we already understand the Unreal Engine and how to go about using it. And then when they announced the Unreal Engine 5 with the Nanite and Lumen, that just changed everything. As in, like, we have to upgrade this game. That's why we upgraded the game from Unreal Engine 4 to 5. And if you notice, we also rebuilt the world from scratch again, making it the
Yep.
third time. We are rebuilding the game again. So we had one before in the past, the one that we were told to postpone. That one is a lot horrible looking compared to what we have now. But even as at then, it was impressive, as in to everybody that saw it then. But the one you played, you can see that it has been improved greatly. But for the Unreal Engine 5, we went inside again and tried to overhaul it even better. So that is the story of how we moved to Unreal Engine, and we never regretted it. So that's the thing.
Okay, so right now you are uploading your game to Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine between starting by Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. Okay, and the demo
it's now
is
fully running on Unreal Engine 5.
so the demo is right now in Steam. It's on Unreal Engine 5,
Yeah,
4
it's
or
on Steam
5.
right now.
It's 4 or 5.
Unreal 5.
5.
5.
Okay, so why
Yeah.
the color is like this? I can see the sweat on the body. Whoa, okay. I think it is about Unreal 5 or 4, not 5. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, tell me the modeling the character the modeling the character and the stage. Do you do it by yourself or you pay someone to do it? The
Okay,
assets.
so initially we wanted to model the characters by ourselves. No, initially we wanted to try using freelancers from like Fiverr. But the person we met, he was too expensive and he wasn't even reliable. He just kept on wasting time. So there is this tool. We also happened to stumble across the character creator from Real. So character creator 3. We now saw with it, we can actually make impressive looking characters that would actually be able to hold their own in the industry of photorealistic characters. So, and since we know how to model already, so we use the character creator to make the models. Then everything else you see in the game, the modeling, the structures, even the clothes on the characters, we made all of those ones ourselves since we know how to model. So me, my brother and I, together, we distributed the workload and then we did all of the modeling in the game because we wanted to use as few third-party assets as possible because you can't really find a lot of these African-oriented stuffs on the asset store, as in a lot or the ones you want. Even the animations too, we wanted to add some of the animations. You can't really find an animation pack dedicated to them on the asset store. You would have to make a lot of them yourself. But because we wanted the quality of the animations to be able to match what we are seeing, we had to do the animations ourselves. And in this case, we went with Perception Neuron Motion Capture Suite. That's the cheap one, the one for indies basically. So leveraging those tools, we were able to still be able to do the things, make majority of it ourselves without the need of having to go here and there, but still be able to keep the quality bar as high as we currently have, and we'll continue to improve on it definitely.
Congratulations. It's not easy to do that
Thank you.
by yourself, and
It's not easy. We have sleepless nights, and wow, it's not easy.
and I want to tell you, tell me, are you just in video game industry or have you another job to pay your game?
For now, it's just the
That's a
video game
question.
industry. So we leverage,
Wow.
a while back, we received an Epic Mega Grant a little while back. So, but even before that, it's just the gaming industry. Whatever little we had, we scraped it together to just try to get by to finish this game.
So oh, okay. I have a question about this. So before we going in the money in industry, tell me, how did you do about the technology of the facial and the voice? Because I see in some cinematics in the game, there are the facial animation with the mouth. Tell me, how did you do that?
Okay, another funny story. So, like I said, the music in the game, when you played it, I actually made that because I took a course in music. When you are working on a very tight budget, like they said, difficulty, or should I say experience, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So when you find yourself not having the tools or the means to do some certain things, you might actually be forced to do something about it. Either you leave it or you actually try to face the problem and solve it yourself. So in this case, we decided to make the music ourselves. So we went on Udemy and I took a video game music course. And after that, I tried to put together the music. So now for the characters to the animations, like I said, we use motion capture suite for the body animations of the characters. Then circling back to the character creator I talked about earlier, it has a companion tool, the iClone. That one is the animation tool. So there they have this tool called Aculips. So all you just need to do is record your audio and feed it to the software, and it will try to generate the lip syncing movement for the voice based on the voice you fed into it, and try to match it with the body animation. So it wasn't easy to do that, but at least we spent a lot of time trying to make sure it matches the body as best as possible. So the Aculips did the lip syncing for the mouth. Then we manually did the facial expression, like the sad face or the scared face. We did that one manually using the iClone animation tool. So putting everything together in Unreal Engine is what you saw in the game. And then as for the voice, another funny story, we actually did the voice in-house here too. So like the one for the keeper talking to her, that was actually my voice, but I did some coloring on it to make it sound more domineering, something like that. So again, it still boils down to that, trying to solve your own problem.
But I hear something. You buy motion capture suite. How is possible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, it was that.
It's possible to have it. In Lagos, it's possible to have it, the suite of motion capture.
Actually, we got it. We bought it from the website of Perception Unit, so it was shipped into Nigeria.
Wow. Oh. So you have a big place to make motion capture.
Not big, a very small space. So we just managed to make it. It's a very small space, but we just tried to make as much and then somehow glue all of the animations together. So as I said, it wasn't easy. It's a very tiny space, but it's okay enough for us to make do with what we have.
Okay. It's up to you. I don't know how I can say. Another congratulations, because it's not easy. I know what is it to make everything, but in India it's very difficult. You don't have the budget to improve to make your game growing, but I hope it will be great for you. So
thank you. I hope so too.
A question I think is very important. What kind of problem did you have when you're starting to make your video game? I think you already asking. You respond on this question.
So as I said, some of the problems, as I said, the experience, the technicalities. There are lots of things we had to learn ourselves, and lots of things we had to do manually, and then the funds aspect especially, which is like the main problem indies have. So we go on YouTube, online, to try to learn everything we can possibly learn. Like this programming stuff, apart from the course I took back then, everything else about programming, I self-taught myself using resources online. So, and thanks to sites like Udemy, you can easily go there and find a very cheap course and try to learn something you want to learn. So those are like the major problems, but the budgeting part turned out to be the major one, because one thing, so I said like the mocap suit now was something that was way out of our reach, but thanks to the Epic Mega Grant we received, we were able to at least put in that to get the suit, because we really wanted to make this game the best we can possibly make it. So those were like the challenges, experiences. And I also mentioned earlier the industry veteran we met. So he also told us some things that we never had access to before. That he gave us some insights, some infos that would be difficult for like someone without the experience to be able to figure out on their own, or at least on time. And then so everything, a lot of it too has to do with experience and then learning from other people. But you just have to be willing to learn for you to be able to pull this off. Otherwise, it is very difficult and scary to do it by yourself without wanting to learn.
Okay. But already you tell me that you are living about the video game industry. So how many games did you have sell right now till today?
Okay, I would say initially we were just making simple games that weren't really doing much for us. So it was, like I said, prior to the 2019, we we nearly shut down basically because it wasn't really bringing in anything, and we
Okay.
had some loss then in the family. Like our mother, she passed away, and she was like one of our major, as in supporters. She encouraged us a lot to be not to give up on this. So we nearly just scrapped everything. But it was then that we just came up with the idea. You know what? Let's just give this thing another major push. Let's just try to make something that will truly stand out, at least on the African perspective. So we decided, okay, let's do this. So we put in everything we have then to make the game back then and plan to release it on February 2020 before we got the advice to postpone it. So we went back to the drawing board and just continued to scrape by to just make sure we're able to pull it off. And then thankfully now things are starting to fall in place. And yeah, that was starting to look like past story. But like I said, the first game we made then, when we did not really know much of what we were doing, was Mind Dead, a zombie survival horror game. It's very funny if you look at it now. It doesn't compare. So we tried another one. When that failed, we said, you know what, we don't need anything. Let's just make simpler ones. So we made the one we called Outliver Redemption. Again, it was a total wreck. So eventually we decided to just grow up and go all in and make something very good with the experiences we've gained. So this is as a result of that. So this is basically the product of the experiences we've gathered, making those simpler, playful. But now, we to some extent we can say we know what we are doing now, and we just need to finish this game. And we have a lot of other ideas up here in the head. We just need to finish this so we can quickly get to it because making game is like a passion for me now. I can't wait to get to the next games. I can't wait to finish this so that I can quickly move on to the next. So basically, when I play video games and see things I wished was done this way, but the beauty is you can actually make a game you would love to play. And then people with like-minded people like you, they can actually also appreciate that type of game. And then maybe the African continent too, we can actually be able to start doing something that puts us on the map too. That this level of game, you can also get it from African studios in all parts of Africa, not just because you can say that, let's say in the South African area, those ones are already advanced. But here in this other side, like the West and East, the rest, so this would also help boost our profile internationally. So it's also like a thing of pride for me, for us here in the studio to do this. And I know there are also a lot of other studios propping up in Africa here and there that are also pushing the bounds. So eventually, yeah, Africa too will be there as a respected video game sector too.
Wow. Great answer. You tell much things, and you destroy 5 questions in one answer. Okay.
Anyone else? That's very good.
Wow. So yes, you tell something very good, but you didn't tell me something about in your country. So how is the video game industry see in your country? Because I know in Africa, video game don't have the place like a normal work, you know. So tell me in your country how about this?
Yeah. So we can say in Africa, in my country, I think it really applies to Africa in general. Video game industry is still like a green fledgling industry. There's still so few of us, and
Yeah.
gaming to some extent is still considered as, I think, time wasting or something like that. But gradually, it's starting to change, especially with the advent of esports. We have a lot of esports, as in a lot of guys here in Nigeria and in Africa in general, doing stuff about esports. So gradually, people are starting to win prizes. A lot of people are starting to turn, especially in this age where the old ideas of, this go to school, find a job, it's really starting to overstay its welcome. Like even after school, okay, look at me now. I finished as a civil engineer, but I'm developing video games. So it is getting to that point where people are starting to think, look, if I sit with this, I might end up just running myself. And entertainment is not bad, and video gaming is one of it. And the beauty of video gaming is like it's an interactive form of entertainment. So it also helps you boost your IQ to some extent, solving problems in games, trying to overcome your problems. So I would say yes, it is still fledgling, but it is gradually coming up. But the most common trend here in Africa, I think it's on the mobile side of things. Even in the publisher segment too, majority of them, I think in fact almost all of them, like take Carry First for instance, they focus on mobile publishing, mobile games. But the thing is to truly be able to push that visuals and that level of quality. Right now, that is mainly possible on the PC and the console space. So I'm happy at least there are some of us trying to tackle that level. At least if in the future we make a game that is a bit similar to what you see these big companies in the West doing. So, but that sentiment is gradually changing. That is one thing that is certain. People are gradually shifting towards, oh, video gaming is not that bad. Video gaming is not that bad. At least it is better to stay at home playing game than be on the streets causing problem for other people in the neighborhood. So I think it's only a matter of time. It will catch on and it will become a major industry too in Africa.
I don't see any word to add. To tell anything. For me, it's clear. Okay. Have you a message for the African, European, youngest, future, something? Do you have the message to give?
Being the developers or just African gamers in general.
Everything. So, for someone who want to put in video game industry or in anything else to be an entrepreneur, do you have advice
Okay.
you can or message something?
Yeah, the advice, one of the advice I think I have is they should actually put in the work to create something that is unique, and then something that at the back of their mind can be beneficial for the continent at large. So basically, create something. Oh, we have that here too in our continent, and they need to be determined because it would not be easy, but they need to be determined to put in the work. And as they do it, they should not forget their continent, their country. That whatever it is I am doing, my country needs to be able to benefit from this in the long run. So that is one of the few things I think I can say. A lot of others have been said already in the industry. Work hard, but just try to be unique. Try to explore the frontiers that haven't been explored, but try to benefit the continent. Try to do good basically by everyone around.
Merci d'avoir vu cette interview. En tout cas, merci beaucoup les amis d'avoir vu cette interview que j'ai faite avec monsieur Mudathir GIWA, qui est le PDG de GbrosSoft. Comme vous voyez, j'essaie au maximum de faire intervenir beaucoup de développeurs africains et bien d'autres encore. Et c'est pas toujours facile d'avoir leur autorisation pour faire une interview, mais je fais du mieux que je peux. En même temps, ça nous permet de découvrir ce pont de l'industrie que nous ne maîtrisons pas tellement. Et vous avez eu les informations sur comment c'est assez difficile des fois de pouvoir se lancer dans le jeu vidéo. Le plus important, c'est, quoi que vous fassiez, de commencer à lancer la première pierre. C'est extrêmement important parce qu'au fur et à mesure, ça vous permet de vous construire et d'aller plus loin. Je mettrai également en description les liens pour pouvoir télécharger le jeu, la démo sur Steam. Et vous pouvez aussi également aider le studio aussi en mettant ça dans votre wishlist pour possiblement le payer une fois que le jeu sortira. Donc on se donne rendez-vous pour une autre vidéo très bientôt. N'oubliez pas, il y a d'autres vidéos sur le catalogue, donc n'oubliez pas de cliquer dessus pour regarder soit la vidéo précédente ou d'autres vidéos. Ça dépend que de vous. Allez la famille. Bye yo.